Well, on today's episode of Getting Up to Speed, we have a little bit of international flares representing the province of Alberta. It is Sean MacDonell. MacDonell has not raced a sprint car since 2019 for a full season. This year, he plans to be occupying the Golden State a lot in 2023. He's here to talk about it. That's next here on Getting Up to Speed. Hello, I'm Ben Dethridge, and I'm the host of Getting Up to Speed. We talk to sprint car drivers from the Pacific Coast, whether they race in Oregon, Washington, California. If they run it, we're going to talk about it. Also branch out a little bit, as well as drivers that perhaps are from here that race elsewhere, or some drivers that come in and try and take some money from the West Coast. In these episodes, we talk about past experience, past seasons, as well as upcoming races, as well as how's the season going. We hope you enjoy these episodes. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps us out. And stay tuned for more and more content. Now let's get into the interview. Well, on the phone now, representing Beaumont, Alberta, a suburb of Edmonton, AB, it is Sean MacDonell. And Sean, it's great to hear that you're going to be racing because it's been some time since you've been in the cockpit of a sprint car, but it sounds like you guys have some exciting plans for 2023.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. It's been a long time where we've been able to look forward to racing. You know, with COVID, things really came to a halt. So, we're going to try and link up with Ivan Warden in California and do some racing down there and get our feet wet and go race against some of the best 360 drivers in North America. So very excited.
Well, in talking to you off the air, the schedule haven't dedicated to anything particular. You guys are just going to kind of go around and see where you can race at and when you can race at. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, obviously a lot of logistics to plan around in terms of getting me and the crew down there with flights and plan around everyone's work schedule, what Ivan's comfortable with, and obviously money is going to be difficult because all the extra travel costs, and we put a lot of investment into our engine program over at Shark Motorsports over the last couple of years. So just keeping things open and we'll take it month by month and kind of go from there. Just want it to be flexible and want everybody to be happy with it and comfortable with our commitment. So.
Yeah. Is there any particular racetracks in California that you're looking forward to running at?
Well, we talk a lot with Mike Quigley. He was actually a big factor in making this deal happen and setting us up with Ivan. And definitely have to thank him for, believing in me and racing in front of him for the last number of years there before COVID. And he kind of gave me a shove to kind of make a plan to make something happen rather than just letting my racing career fizzle away. So Mike's always been a big fan of Placerville Speedway. So I think that's one that stands out for us. I'd like to kind of hit the big name tracks as well, since we'll be down there. You think about Tulare, Thunderbolt, Chico, Silver Dollar. Grew up watching those tracks, so it'd definitely be cool to get some races in there as well.
No doubt. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, and kind of through May through September, sort of the window of what the race schedule is going to, obviously, as long as funds allow and everybody is having fun. Yeah. Yeah,
I think so. Ideally probably two weekends a month through those summer months would work good for our family and for the financial commitment side of things. And obviously if things are going really well and we get kind of the racing bug flowing through us again, then we'll push for more as long as everybody can make that work, because it's with the extra travel, we'll have to take extra time off work and things like that. So
well, I know 2016 2017 I got to spend a lot of time around you and your dad. Your dad is one of my favorite people, and we share the same birthday, and he's just your guys' family is such a lovely bunch, with Pro West Motorsports and all that you do to support local racing. And I just want to know, like, what's the culture like now in Edmonton? And, Castrol Raceway, of course, is, the nearest track and everything with sprint cars.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Since since our class, the 360 class, has kind of been shut down here locally, I haven't been too involved. You talk with people here and there, and they've still got the sportsman sprint class going, and obviously the late models and the mini stocks. And from what I know, they're still getting decent car counts out there and getting a handful of races in the summer. But definitely miss being able to race at 360 locally. And a lot of my competitors that I grew up racing with around here have sold off their stuff. So it's been kind of a sad state of affairs when it comes to 360 racing locally, unfortunately. But the facility is still there, and there is a promoter there that's putting on dirt track racing. So as long as that's the case, then I've always got the hope that it'll come back one day.
I know. I made the trip up there August of 16 for the Gold Cup, and I always, when I talk to people about Canada, like Edmonton's my sort of adopted Canadian home. Like it's a beautiful city. The Edmonton Oilers are my favorite NHL team. Connor McDavid's my favorite player. So it's I really hope to get up there before too long again.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great facility here. It's a great racetrack. We've had a lot of big names come here over the years, and including the Outlaws a number of times. And from what I know, they all love the track too. So it'd be a shame for it to never come back. And the city definitely supports racing when those big events happen. So where there's a will, there's a way. My dad, he promoted it for a number of years under Ginger Ninja Dirt Promotions there, and hopefully someone else comes along and is able to put in that effort again and work with some great people like Mike Quigley that we had at the time, running the shows and doing the track prep. And we had a pretty good program there with the NSA for a few years, and we were gaining some really good momentum before COVID hit, unfortunately. So I'm not ready to write off Edmonton as a 360 race area for sure, but we need somebody to come around and make that happen.
Well, you heard it there. If you are in the Edmonton area or want to get interested in the Edmonton area, there's an opportunity. And yeah, I was just looking at all the great names that have came from their racers, Skylar G from Leduc, Casey Adams from Leduc, Wade Fleming, Sean Moran, Jeff Beck, yourself, Jeff Hodgson. I mean, there's been some incredible talent to Tim G. There's been some incredible talent to come out of the Edmonton area. Yeah,
and Mark Duperon as well, who won a Dirt Cup prelim night at Skagit there a few years back. I almost won a prelim night there at the 360 Nationals in Skagit. So, we used to travel around the Edmonton guys and kind of get whooped when we go to the States. But I think we've definitely started. We were starting to make a name for ourselves. Kelly Miller has won a ton of races in the States as well. The Montana ASCS series there, the Frontier region. And we definitely had a good field of cars, very competitive, and a lot of talented racers. So
yeah, and I
definitely appreciative of getting a race with a lot of those big names.
Yeah, Kyle Evans was another one. Matthew Dussault, kind of the younger generation coming up. And gosh, am I really dating myself? Tim Boychuk and Gord Kynock, a couple of these guys would all go to Montana or would go down here for Speed Week.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately for myself, I'd never really got down to do a Speed Week. So it kind of feels like this year we're making up for lost time. We were building up our program over the 10 years that I was doing 360 racing, and we made a change to Shark Racing engines there that I mentioned, and got a handful of races in, and definitely felt like we were much more competitive, and kind of feels like we're going to be making up for lost time here this year by continuing that. So
yeah,
I wouldn't call it we had unfinished business, but
sure,
it was just didn't feel right ending the career the way we did. So that's why we're making a push here.
So for folks that don't know, Sean MacDonell was just in a good rhythm in the pre-COVID. In 2019, won the North America Sprint Association, the NSA series, which was basically a series between Montana and Edmonton. And 2019 won 2 victories at Electric City Speedway in Great Falls with the series, 8 podiums, 9 top 5s, and was a perfect 11 top 10s and 11 starts. That was such a high note to finish off on, and then you haven't raced really since then. I mean, sure, you got a 5th place finish at Castrol. We were talking about it off the air. It wasn't really a formal race by any sense in July of 2020. So 2019 has been the last time you've been in a race car.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I definitely feel like I'm going to have a lot of rust to shake off. Kind of jumping in with the Wolves. They're going to California where, there's a ton of great drivers and great cars. Great equipment. So I want to add to that. It's kind of a different style of racetrack down there compared to, what I've seen in Edmonton and Washington and Montana. So definitely going in, not expecting to, run at the front right away. Just going to work with Ivan and learn as much as we can to get up to speed. And, if we have some really great results, then that'll just be kind of icing on the cake this year. So as a lot of people listening know, Ivan Warden was the crew chief for JJ Hickle last year, and we all know how much success JJ had with the national ASCS tour. He really kind of launched his career, ended up starting in the top 10, I think, at the Knoxville Nationals. So definitely big shoes to fill coming in, working with Ivan after he was with JJ there, but that definitely gives us confidence that, he'll be able to put out, a great car for me to drive. So I just got to worry about myself.
Well, and outside of racing, during that interlude period between 2019 and now, obviously becoming a dad, and that kind of has taken a major role, a major shift to, so to speak, where you kind of put your racing career on hold and aspirations on hold, and just talk about that.
Yeah. So, we had a daughter there, our daughter Amelia, in 2019, shortly after COVID hit. And then our son 17 months later, and his name's Nate. And a few months after he was born, we found out he had congenital heart disease. So we worked with the Stollery Hospital here in Edmonton, which is, from what I understand, world renowned, and they were amazing to deal with. And they ended up performing open heart surgery on Nate at 4 months of age, and thankfully he's been great ever since. And me and my wife Kirsten are just loving life, having 2 young kids running around. But definitely been a shift in priorities and lifestyle. And I guess with COVID shutting down racing, that was kind of our focus in life, is looking after these 2 little ones, and even coming back, making the decision to come back to racing. It wasn't an easy one. Me and my wife had a lot of hard discussion about it, figuring out what would work for our family. And that's why we're kind of going into this year, with an open mind and flexibility in our schedule, because we really don't know what it will bring. And I'm very appreciative of my wife, giving me the support to go ahead with this, because it's going to be a lot of work for her, with the 2 kids at home by herself and not being able to be involved on the racing side as much as she would typically like to, because she was always right in there like a dirty shirt in the past. And that's actually how we met, is we share a passion for racing, and her dad, she grew up watching her dad race sprint cars as well, so it's definitely in our blood.
Yeah, no doubt. And that was going to be kind of my next question, was outside of racing, what do you do to fill up your free time? But parenting kind of, takes up all of that.
I mean, definitely big Oiler fan, like you mentioned. Love watching Connor McDavid, light up the NHL. It's a lot of fun to watch. I'm excited about where they're going to go this year. And I play hockey myself once a week, beer league hockey with some friends. So kind of keep busy that way, and kind of keeps me in good shape. Me and my dad have actually been exercising a lot since COVID. Another thing to do. And obviously I can't stay in racing shape without any sprint car racing locally. So we've kind of made a focus over the last, call it a year here, to make sure that, when we do get back into it, fitness isn't an issue for the most part. So it's been fun a way to spend time with Dad in the gym as well, to replace that, time we spent racing together.
Well, and have you fired up the simulator and getting some iRacing laps in to get your driving reflexes kind of refined?
I'm probably going to have to over the next few months here, just to get something. something going. I did have iRacing going, when COVID first hit, but then got too busy with the kids. And, usually after we get them down to bed, it's spending time with my wife. So not a whole lot of video game time, but yeah, it's probably not a bad idea to fire that up a little bit here.
Sure. Yeah, I think I remember calling you a couple. There's another name, Jesse Dacus, from Alberta. He was a big part of that, and you guys had like a mock Gold Cup, Canadian Gold Cup, a mock Dirt Cup, and that was a really fun time, even though it was kind of crazy times.
Yeah, that was cool. Jesse did that. He lives just down the road from here, also in the Beaumont area, and that iRacing was a good substitute there for a while for a lot of us to get our fix, right? But we ended up getting some big names in that. I believe Buddy Colfoyd was there, Justin Cox. I think there's a few others that don't come to mind right now. But, yeah, that was a cool deal he put on. So, yeah, Jesse's good for kind of keeping the local racing community here connected. So definitely appreciated that.
I know that some people can't be big on speculation of like what ifs, but I just posed the question to you of what if everything goes good in California? Are you looking at maybe ramping up a beefier schedule, or are you guys going to try and put something together to make some runs in Montana or up in Washington State? I mean, what would that look like if everything kind of clicks and financially makes sense for you?
Yeah, 100%. Me and my dad, and from what I understand, Ivan, we're very competitive people, and if we're having success and, enjoying our time, then we're going to do what we can to continue that. We'll not just kind of do our 2 races a month, I'm imagining, and then go, well, that was fun. So I think, yeah, if things are going well, and like you said, the finances are there and works out logistically with the family, then by all means we'll be looking to grow from there rather than just kind of maintain status quo.
Well, and it's a perfect opportunity, I guess, right now, like any sponsors that you want to acknowledge or individual people you want to thank that have made all this happen.
Yeah, first and foremost, I always got to start with my dad, Ron MacDonell. He's got as big of a passion for racing, if not more, than I do. Like you mentioned, he's been a local promoter from, even before I was born at Kalmar Raceway. He's continued that through with, owning a two-car team with my uncle, Al MacDonell, for a number of years, with Sean Moran driving, as well as my uncle. And he's definitely made sure that I grew up with that same passion for racing, and definitely appreciate, all the opportunities given me from the time I was a young kid doing, performance racing around.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You were breaking up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. And definitely have to thank, like I was mentioning, for being supportive of this plan for me to kind of be, country. Spend more months here because it is a short summer in Alberta, as you know, and she's all in. She's pushing me all the time. She's actually bugging me every night saying, "I have an official schedule yet, so I know where and when you're racing." So it's all over it. I definitely have to thank Mike Quigley, as we talked about earlier. He kind of made this initial call to me and said, "Let's get you racing again. I'll put you in touch with Ivan. I think it'll be a great fit, and you'll do well." Because I was kind of thinking, well, I'm 34 years old now. Maybe it's time to just call it quits and move on. And he definitely talked me out of it after a great 2-hour phone call. So I've always loved dealing with Mike, and definitely appreciative that he pushed me over the edge to kind of get this plan in motion. And also putting the bug in my dad's ear as well. I would say they're very close. So those are the big 3 names that come to mind in terms of support. And for sponsor wise, Pro West Motorsports, they've been providing parts at cost for the last number of years for my race team, and definitely can't thank them enough. And other than that, we're still looking for more sponsorship. So.
Awesome. And
we'll see where that goes. Yeah.
And you mentioned, the person bugging you about his schedule. Will you guys be having news releases or race reports or a place where people can buy apparel if you guys just perhaps do an apparel run, or post like at least this is where we're going to be racing this weekend on any sort of online platform?
Yeah, before we shut down for COVID there, I did have a website going, SeanMacDonellRacing.com. So once I'm ready, we'll get that live again. And yeah, there's T-shirts on there, hoodies, schedules and results, and kind of news releases and the works there. So definitely be making an announcement when that goes live again over the next month or so here.
Okay. Well, I'm really excited. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in California this year, so hopefully our paths will cross and we'll be able to catch up, and bring your dad with you because I want to catch up with him too.
Oh yeah, like I said, he'll be in there, like a dirty shirt. He loves racing more than I do probably. So yeah. I can't imagine being down there and him sitting at home, watching through Flow Racing or whatever it is there. So yeah, I definitely agree. Always like dealing with you, Ben. I appreciate what you do for the sport in terms of your media coverage. And then when you came in and announced the Gold Cup there, doing the play-by-play, you do a great job. So definitely appreciate what you do for sprint car racing.
Well, thank you. And we'll be keeping on tabs of you as well. So we might be calling you every now and then for a progress report.
It sounds good. I'm all in.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this latest episode of Getting Up to Speed with me, Ben Dethridge. We hope you enjoyed this program. We hope also that you hit the subscribe button and the like button, as that really helps things out, spreads things out. Be sure and share as well on social media so that more people can listen to these great interviews and from these great drivers. Getting Up to Speed is a production of Highside Racing Promotions. For more information, you can check it all out on Facebook at Highside Promotions.